battle as support, and then putting Rammus in top for Freddy. We'll still struggle against the Graves. We'll get pushed into tower basically over and over, but you can like flash taunt gank and then a Gragas coming in. That's a pretty easy kill.
So that's not really a gigantic surprise here. Noxiac already has a game of Trundle under his belt. We know Freddy has played Rammus twice in the past. Very invested in their double damage threat. I mean, it's all on Betsy and Tabs to get the damage down with that front line, whereas Huma have got damage all the way down that roster.
That has to flank though. Like, the comp Huma is running are very difficult to execute. It's not quite the Z Fizz comp we saw Splice play earlier, but it's somewhat the same. Again, it's 1-3-1, it's heavy skirmish focus, and if you ever get into a team fight, which we most likely will because these two teams like to team fight in the late game, then Huma's comp will struggle against what Rocket has been building.
Well, we'll find out whether or not Huma's comp can make it to the late game and if they can survive through those skirmishes. I think it's enough talk from us. It's time to hit the rift and see if the Spring Challenger champions can take on Rocket to earn the LCS.
We have more experience than the Challenger team.
They might underestimate us. Underestimating their team is really bad.
Huma managed to secure the Nexus. They're gonna do it. And they are the Spring Split champions here in Challenger.
We played against the best team in Europe.
For the second time this split, Rocket destroy Vitality.
So I think we have the highest chance to win.
And I want everybody to jump on Twitter and tell me who you think will be joining Splice in the summer split of the LCS. Hashtag HMA win if there will be a new flag added to the stage, or hashtag ROC win if Rockets will simply remain where it is placed. Cool. That's that done. Thanks for the support, Deficia.
You said it, man. You said it. And you guys have to be able to call it here in game 1.
Yes.
For the entire
10
series.
seconds
that's how it
remaining.
works.
I mean,
Have you not paid attention
entire
to the Twitter
analyst
call-out?
list
5
failed
seconds
completely.
remaining.
Yeah, well, technically we didn't 100%. We called Splice to win, and they did in the end. Except for Mickey.
Nova could use a
Therefore, we have to
sack.
call him out now. That's why we kicked him off the analyst desk in the end, because there's only one remaining.
That brutal.
Prepare
Yeah, goes,
for
man.
battle.
Wrong predictions, you're out.
I don't think we'd have much of a show if that were really the case.
No, I think we've all been removed very quickly.
It doesn't look like there's any shenanigans going on here. I take it back, Tabs and Noxiac positioning for a lane swap. Just reactionary. Are you surprised by that or expect?
No, I think Rocket should lane swap 100%. First of all, you want to get rid of this jungle matchup in the early game and just get the gentleman's agreement, divide the jungle, farm even, otherwise Gragas will get spanked by the Nidalee. And also at the same time, the 1v1 lane with Rammus into Graves. It's not the greatest for Rammus. Rammus is a fairly weak laner, so I think Rocket should lane swap. And I'm actually surprised Huma isn't blind swapping top almost, because I felt like it was in many ways fairly obvious, also with the Nidalee pick in here. But Huma decides to just play it extremely safe and go bot lane, and therefore Rocket can be happy.
Alright, let's see what Jisuikar can do in this. A little bit of invade. Blue buff secured by Airwax with a smite. No real major
30
interference,
seconds to
but
battle.
He's helping.
he's helping. Okay, going off a little walk.
Gets a drink.
Airwax offers a friendly drink and a pat on the back. So, lane swap shenanigans will equate the stages of lane swap in a minute or two. I want to talk about Godbroke and this LeBlanc. He's currently undefeated throughout Challenger, 5-0. Take a look at those stats, 27 kills and 30 assists. Godbro doesn't farm minions, he farms champions.
Yeah,
when
that is-
playing this.
The
That
battle
is very strange
begins.
with Godbro, you know, sitting at home. Yesterday,
Blessings
some
upon a
people would
loyal
garden party, Some
warrior.
people would, you know, whatever, play games. No, it's all about stats. You know, we were just looking at stats for this one, and we wanted to find something on Huma. There wasn't a whole lot to find. A lot of it was actually very standard. Just, you know, it's even in laning phase, fairly even in terms of just objectives taken. There wasn't really anything that stood out, except for Godbro. Because Godbro is getting the lowest amount of gold share of any mid laner in China. So like that means his team will get a lot more gold normally than he will compared. Like he gets 22% of the gold, where 80 carry holder is like 30%, and it's very different in terms of how they allocate resources there. Because Godbro, he's just walking around the map picking people off on the likes of LeBlanc. He's not farming side lanes very often. He's not sitting and just wave playing mid. No, he is very active on the map. He's a roaming mid laner. It is both good and bad. Once you play against good teams, it tends to fall apart because it's
I'm
too risky.
done being merciful.
You're missing on all that farm that your opponent's getting.
Yeah, you're missing the farm, and if you don't get that kill, you fall behind. And that also happened to him when they played against opening walls in some of the games. And that is the style of Godbro. It is a very risky one, but he is a good mechanical player. Betsy, however, had a very good year. And I think 1v1, Betsy will be more than fine.
Well, Betsy's already starting to stamp his authority on this lane. Gaining a little bit of a CS advantage, as you somewhat expect. 3-6 on LeBlanc. And of course for Godbro and those roaming side lane gangs, significantly harder when a lane swap is going on.
Yeah.
So let's see how the next few phases of the
Blessings
swap plays
upon
out.
a loyal
Both teams
warrior.
have successfully secured the first tower. It actually looks like Freddy already backed. Maybe early you can see
Bot
Word
lane
trying to
Kuma
do that. So
didn't bounce
No.
the wave. So if you don't bounce the wave on bot side, you have to stay. You have to
Weakling.
keep your top lane there and have him push all the way into tower, because he will most likely have a small level advantage at first when the enemy top laner joins. That's why Freddy's down here, because he's trying to freeze the wave. You gotta push it all the way into tower and get it to reset. Willip is getting close to it.
Lunar
He's
light.
very close to the tower right now, but Freddy is still here picking up what he can. And therefore they're now even trading. And Rocket is jumping into standard lanes. But look at his extra minion wave Freddy's gonna pick up, and Willip is only 2 CS ahead at this point, so he is going to fall behind. He's
Denied.
not really gonna do a whole lot and get a bit of damage from tower. And Freddy's just trying to farm everything he can.
Willip's trying to get as much damage down as possible, getting all those pellets onto the towers as best as possible. Freddy will pick up Rudy's CS, but the challenge for Freddy,
It's very useless Rudy's here. You're never gonna kill this tower. You're just gonna chip it down a little bit. Gragas can just join and push you off. Instead here, maximize your farmers in Italy. Take away that Grump and the Wolf camp. More value than you chipping away some damage on tower.
but he manages to walk in lane and potentially throw out the high. It's Rudy, you know, throw
Maybe
the,
that was it.
throw
You know?
the psychological games at them, you know.
Drops it on his
Unworthy.
spear when he
That's
throws
it.
it towards Freddy.
That's it. Just sending a message, as it were.
Well, she just steal away the jungle instead.
Grump will be secured here by Rudy. Pounces down and starts to back away. Recall from Willer to come out. Yes.
I actually think now looking back at it, he probably already had taken one of the camps. He's like, I have nothing to do, but I need to stay here to let my top laner push in this wave. So he just had to
Mission
Now we're
bottom!
okay with it. No,
Piercing
maybe.
light.
We need to see again. Oh,
Body slam.
now we're.
You'll never find my horn.
The night.
Not to follow the body slam flash. Godbro survives through to level 6.
We're
down
not okay.
5
Wolf
CS.
camp was up the entire time.
Was Wolfcamp up?
Yeah, he should have been.
Okay, so now we're back to not like
Yeah,
that. Ping-ponging like a seesaw. The chains come down. Betsy gets 2 slices before he's rooted in place.
I'm just playing it safe.
2 tower shots and Betsy walks away. Godbro still poked out.
You know, if I both criticize and praise, people will like it. You know, the people who think it's wrong I'm criticizing will like that I'm in praise thing.
And then people who like
Hours.
to praise. Okay, yeah, clever, clever.
It's just playing it safe.
Covering all your bases.
I think it's like
Next
Woody's getting
level.
this CS here.
Next noise. Rudy comes to clear out the mid lane.
Unworthy.
Godbro's gone for slightly more aggressive start. The Null Magic Mantle plus Lasting One. Betsy, just a couple extra CS, has actually picked up the Negatron cloak, so item advantage, additional MR.
But still, even for Rocket here, because Huma didn't decide to bounce the wave, you know, Rocket got past the point of the game they wanted to. The really early game when Italy could be extremely annoying. Get Gragas to round level 6 and he can start at least fighting back a little bit or setting up potential gank. He's level 5 now, getting 6 very soon, and now he's here just to let these guys push it out. So
They will
both guns
fear
are
me.
following each other, being like, oh, you want to push the other wave, or I'll be here as well, just, you know, for the agreement. And then another hides Rudy Spear.
We'll find out whether or not Rocket can maintain this tempo lead. Fan vote is in favor of Huma. A little surprised by that one, actually. Well, to be fair, Huma did win Challenger Finals. Godbro comes off worse for wear in that trade. Looked really good until 2 Sand Soldiers slapped him in the face. Betsy's already starting to put some control from range.
It's a fun matchup though.
Tell me why.
There's a lot of different opinions about it, you know. A lot of people
Poor
like to play
thing.
Z into advance because you can just push ring, and if she ever goes aggressive, you have heal as a summoner scroll, and you go Abyssal Scepter first item, so she can't one-shot you. When she jumps in, put up the Sand Soldier in front of you, hit her in the face.
Absolutely
If
not.
she jumps back to the distortion, you move the Sand Soldier to follow her. Soldier is very hard to say. The soldier will follow her, and you can still slap her on the way out, so actually you can always hit her when she jumps in and out with the soldiers. And then again, as I said, you have heal and it's a scepter. Their most balanced item in the game, so you don't die in the 1v1.
That's
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
On the assumption that you can actually make all those combos work.
I mean, when she distortions to your face, you put a Sand Soldier in front of you. That's fairly easy.
Alright.
When she jumps back, you move the Sand Soldier with her.
You make it sound very, very easy.
I think, Trevor, you could execute that combo.
All right, I'll try it out. But I
And
can't
then
make
obviously
any
don't
promises.
get like chained and fully comboed and ganked, but that's another part.
Okay, all right. That's part 2, which we'll talk about later. His Gobro is down 10 CS, way pushing towards Betsy. Blue buff already secured by Betsy. You can see Huma's blue still alive and standing. No presence yet. Not really farmed up any sort of lead.
Fresh mate!
He spent a fair amount of time in lanes. Yeah. With his teammates just showing some support, making some threat. But take a look at the level difference. Iraq has safely gotten through this early game, and the cask is available. So, yep, at any moment, you just get knocked away. Look at this combo. Gobro.
And
Under
that's again,
pressure.
that's again why Rocket is so happy with the fact
For
that
the
he
cause.
was actually pushed out so they could swap credit to the bottom side. He didn't get as much farm as he wanted to, but he definitely got enough. And he's even out of
Sky
the grave, so
alight.
where Rocket could have struggled in the first few levels, they managed to just go dead even now in terms of jungle and top lane. So they can be very happy now. You get a BF sword as well on your Lucian into their scaling Ezreal, so the 2v2 is strong for Rocket. And overall, they're looking just fine. We're not at a point though where any team is messed up enough to lose the game in any way possible. It is going to be an issue though if Gabbro cannot find his way to the side lane. Once you get a business set for Gabbro, he wants to go to the side lane, he wants to start playing that 1-3, 1-split push. If he stays mid, Betsy will just keep standing and pushing that tower, and he will get it down at some point.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the fact that Gobro is already recalling. Rudy's going to be nearby to try and soak up some of this wave.
Your middle tower is under
He
attack.
wants to come into lane, but not the most multi-tiered lane swap, which we'll talk about in a second. Freddy's in trouble. Powerball's available, not going to get interrupted.
Your
just
middle
yet.
tower
Flash,
is under
that will
attack.
interrupt the Powerball.
A harvest
Puncturing
moon.
taunt into Werlip's face. Freddy's going to survive for a while. He's got a lot of armor to work with. The heal will come up through the
Your middle
keystone,
tower
and
is
first
under
blood picked up
attack.
by Werlip in a 2-on-1.
Interesting play from Freddy, just all alone saying I'm gonna push out this wave here, you know, pop ulti, pop everything.
Your
And then
middle
he had
tower
his best.
is
And
under
then not
attack.
respecting the fact the enemy jungler is gonna show up and your team doesn't really have anyone on the
Extra
map that can
kill.
do anything else, because normally you within Rush Dragon.
Invisibility.
But look at the minimap. Like, Gragas is just coming from base right now. Your bot lane is doing Grump at the same time. So you pushing up here, it's just really sloppy.
And unlucky timing. He's using Tremor to push the wave forward.
And he had a ward, right? So technically he had done everything correct, except for the fact he was pushing when his team couldn't do anything and he just got ganked. And that's an easy first blood now for Human.
That's the same problems that we've seen from Freddy. Airwax takes so much damage from Godbro. The chains will root him in place. Knolls the blue buff forward into Betsy's waiting hands. And Airwax
man.
survives.
All plan. Even dodged
Even
Ezreal in
dodge
the end.
is a true shot barrage.
Man, they were so close. I don't even know if he tried to knock
They
him
will
away
find
and
my
then just knocking him
blade sharp
into Betsy.
and cruel.
Let's just say he planned to knock him towards him, so Betsy could get the kill. Important for Rocket. That could have been 2 kills for Huma
Your
now.
bottom
Instead,
tower
Betsy gets
is
a kill.
under
He can
attack.
push in mid lane again. He's very far ahead in farm.
30 CS ahead and a kill, and this tower may even go down as well.
And then, as we talked about in camps, like this Huma composition is all about skirmishing and 1-3-1ing. If you ever get into team fights late game, you technically should not be able to win unless you pull up an absolutely insane flank, where there's zero vision from the enemy team. Oh, this is very, very risky now. So now it's still the the play already. But the chunk here.
Lucius beam.
Slightly. 40s. Ends up just hitting straight on Arbor and not into Betsy, who then picks up the kill.
Die, Mongo.
And he stays alive.
Unbelievable. That had to have been single-digit HP from Airwax.
So what could have been a really good play for Huma with getting another kill and a kill on Scapro before he goes to the side lane ends up being even better for Rocket now.
So Rocket have got themselves 1,500 gold. Let's do that additional tower that they've secured. Sundisk, still built by Godbro, not worth anywhere near as much. And it looks like Rocket is moving down bottom, placing some wards. Both junglers sort of opposite sides of the map, but it'll be much more difficult for Freddy.
And it's very fun to play jungle if your mid laner is winning and he has control, because you can just walk into the enemy jungle and you go bot lane.
Oh, bot lane's in trouble. Noxack's going to sidestep, and with Subjugate, gets some healing. The barrel will kill Jeswika. Holy Phoenix is trying to get a kill back. Werlip teleported in with the double collateral damage. It's not done yet. Godboy's got his first champion farmed of the game. Freddy and Betty looking for more. Godbro and Holy Phoenix are so low. It's a 1 for 3 in favor of Huma.
Look here, top lane.
The
Rudy,
moon
he couldn't even join
waxes,
because he was
and my
already
mercy
setting up a potential
wanes.
push on top tower. Then instant TP down from Whirlip. Dive in from Rocket, which technically should have been executed well, but they take a lot of damage before Eric even joins. So Noxegg is out of the fight, and Taps is down to about 50%.
Blessings
And then
upon
Eric
a
jumps in,
loyal
so
warrior.
because they took so much damage from tower, it removes the fact that there was no jungler, obviously, from Huma at this point. Betsy also has to take a long route down to join the fight and ends up not picking up a kill. Holy Phoenix jumps
Insignificant.
away. By Huma. And Rocket spot lane a little bit too greedy on getting in towards that tower and starting to dive. Noxegg was basically dead by the time the fight started.
Did it manage to...
Your bottom tower is under attack. The enemy's middle tower has
Already
fallen.
has his first item completed, massive amount of sustain coming from him, high base damage,
Not
for
yet.
a wave field, now that the Q got nerfed. A few patches ago as well. Not gonna be a whole lot, it's gonna burst him down, so obviously the pack is not gonna be that massive for him. Against
Let the
basically
skies
zero-burst champions,
take you.
but it's a sustain. Play against Rammus, it's about pushing him in, out-sustaining him.
Do that defensive wall curl.
It's gonna take time.
Eventual thornmail.
It's gonna take time, it's gonna build thornmail, as you
Your
said.
bottom tower
Needs
is under
the life
attack.
steal to keep that 1v1 going.
Dire's structures are
How long
fortified.
Whirlip stays opted in. Teleport not available for either Fred
Your
or Whirlip.
top
The dragon
tower
has been
is under
started.
attack.
And you can see both laners, top laners, in a respective lane.
Is that it?
Doesn't peel away. Rocket not fully committing to this one. He's in trouble. Oh, look at Godbro.
Your top tower is under attack.
Tabs is in trouble. Dash forward. Tap that 4-minute step change. Ignite has
Yasha.
honestly, that Godbro connected. Probably
100% a kill there. Tabs had flash as well. Case between have landed onto him, but it's a very standard Rocket game so far. Betsy's winning his lane. There's one is in almost in every game we've seen in the LCS. He's actually the #1 mid lane. Looking at stats. And of course, Eric's always being around this mid lane. You know, Eric has been hovering around mid lane a lot and then had that one roam to the bottom lane. And that's again where a bit standard Rocket, when it's the side lane who has to make the plays, they tend to go wrong. You know, Freddy overextends top and dies. Dive set up on the bottom lane way too early by Noxegg and Taps, and they're basically out of the fight before it even happens. And that's just been the story for Rocket all split. Trust in Betsy and Eric right now. We need to see more from Cypher.
See if Rocket can lean on Betsy's experience, following the true shot barrage all the way into service.
I want to see a map where if you shoot it out at the end there, it actually appears behind you on the other side of the map.
Well, that's a little unfair. He'll just do that permanent loop.
Well, it can do it once.
Siege onto the middle lane. Holy Phoenix and Godbro are going to be escorted in by minions. Godbro again looking to chunk down Tabs. Culling will clear out most of the wave, but in the top lane, Rocket will be losing the tower to Whirlip. So
Another
Whirlip's
death.
already got himself an advantage.
Yeah.
Looking to be activated as that split pusher. Not much has changed for Whirlip since the last time he played in LCS then.
He's a great player. When he's playing on his own, he's doing really, really well. And he's one of those players who's fun to watch in team fights because as soon as he sees his team is losing, he's the first man to just bail out of there and run out. But he'll always run to a lane where he has a mini wave set up and he's ready to push in the tower. So when you want to try and rush into the enemy base after winning a team fight, you always got to keep in mind, if Whirlip is alive, he's probably trying to split push. Same thing for Rocket in this game. Hitting gold with the towers, Betsy is finished. A one-man army almost on Mrs. Deer.
Yeah, it's only fair because he can actually summon soldiers. So it helps his case out. Whirlip's going to be gifted the Doom's Eve. Helps out with that split push. I really like that. Nice. Yep. We'll get there when we see Elise later in the series.
If we do. Oh, you're saying when? Is that a prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to say win.
Alright, who's gonna play?
I think we'll see it. I think Rudy's going to be more likely.
Radiant structures
Tracking
are
it.
We'll
fortified.
find out if that actually happens. I can't be worse than your predictions earlier today.
What you mean when I said Splice would win and they won?
Double damage!
Who,
The enemy's bottom
here.
tower has fallen.
well, either way, Huma going to be quite content. They've
The
lost all
moon
their houses.
smiles upon
Thanks to
me.
that great work Betsy did in the middle lane. Betsy up 60 CS over his opposite number and looks to be moving down bottom. So going to play the side lane, push that out a little bit.
And that's the thing, right? In order for Huma to really execute their strategy, they need to have priority in the side lanes on getting through waves first and push them in first, so you get to push the side lanes. If you have the kill pressure, you will have that. Like, you will be able to walk into a lane and push it first, because whoever is there defending has to respect you and kind of step back and wait for backup before you can do anything against you. In this case,
Radiant
because Gabriel cannot
structures
kill
are fortified.
Betsy, 2 levels down, you know, pretty far down in CS, putting Betsy in the side lane,
I'm under
it
attack.
actually win lanes. Rocket, top lane though, it's been
A
an issue.
new
and,
moon.
He's almost dying. No, mid lane.
Collateral damage connected though. Airax pins Holy Phoenix and casts against the wall. Cassie's going to be the target. Stand behind me. Allows him to hop over the wall to Holy Phoenix. Holy Phoenix dodges some of the culling, but it won't be enough. Dashes over the wall. One loss. Auto from Tabs takes him down. Rocket lost a tower though. They need to get more for this. Cass is
The
still
enemy's
running for his
bottom
life.
tower has
Betsy
fallen.
was shoving up the bottom lane.
Your
so
middle tower
killing
is
Phoenix,
under
getting
attack.
a bunch of summoners, but the cost of the inner turret up top.
That's really the issue here for Rocket, that 1v1 top lane. Let's see the replay. In mid, engage coming from Alex behind him, while we see Rudy obviously on top side with Wurlip. Good engage in, and then the bronze shield will obviously stop the Gragas ulti and just make it explode in front of them, and therefore knock you slightly back, instead of knocking you towards the
A harvest moon.
Holy Phoenix will die on small red buff here, would probably have finished him if he actually didn't die just before, and in the end,
Bountiful.
Rocket's calm. We know this. They want a team fight. The only reason they're putting Betsy in side lane right now is because he's going to beat Gabriel. So you win that side lane, and it's only about Wurlip, but there's no answer for Wurlip if you're on the Rocket side. So they want to shoot. They don't want to necessarily keep playing the 1v1 game, because Freddy
Bears in a gift.
Freddy's got
Fresh
teleport
mate.
available and 3 targets with no flash. Godbro, Phoenix, cast. I mean, you don't really want to taunt cast, but if he decides to do a powerball TP, after 20
Why not?
minutes,
Yeah,
it's now been activated.
Your
Free kill
top tower
anywhere
is
that
under
he's
attack.
So you're most likely looking for Rocket to say, okay, let's push it up on him.
To style.
Or if Graves is in the lane, fine, Betsy can sit there, and you have that lane just going even, but then there's a TP advantage for Huma on the bottom side, but push in this lane, and then move Betsy to mid lane. Run up with taps. Walking towards the mid tower, walking to the enemy jungle, and you start playing that game. Or you set up a gang on Wurlip.
Yeah, don't even need the teleport. Freddy's coming in with the support of Airax. Collateral damage to put some distance, but the body slam holds Wurlip in place. Freddy decides to flash for this one.
Insignificant.
Will be a kill, but what more can Rocket take?
I'm
3-man
done
scan
being
and minions
merciful.
pushing towards the tower. That was quite a lot invested for what was probably going to be a guaranteed kill.
And it wasn't a move to mid lane, but it's still Rocket starting to put multiple members together. Set up this place here. Betsy's been on fire. Alex is finding a Braum in the jungle. And for some reason you just jump right through the wall.
Yeah. This body of his does not matter. But this is also fairly reminiscent of Puma. Watching the games throughout Spring Challenger, they would have some games where Godbro would just go off on champions like
Pissed.
LeBlanc or Corki, Lissandra at times, and just hard carry. And then other games where the players individually just simply can show up.
And like that's why a comp like this would become so hard to execute for a team like Puma when they're not playing against other challenger teams. Because obviously they are playing against better players as they're facing Rocket and especially Betsy and Alex around this mid lane. So
I'm under attack.
Tempo, you gotta really snowball early on. You have to be able to
Martyr's gift.
can't fall behind like what?
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Blessed be the night.
But it just means that
Lucent beam.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
going for whatever lane he wants to. He's stronger than anyone on the map right
Dire's
now. And Alex is
structures are
constantly just around
fortified.
him. Being like, alright, so you want to fight Betsy? No,
Your
I'm here.
bottom tower is under
Freddy's
attack.
TP, all Freddy has to do is literally just don't die. And then he has to call for his team if he needs backup on a tower.
Your bottom
As long
tower
as he keeps
is
the lane
under
right here
attack.
in the middle for Freddy, he's doing perfectly fine. He's doing his job. He's just sitting ready for TP.
Freddy has had that teleport for a while. Can look to
Your
make
bottom
plays anywhere
tower
on the map.
is under
Support for
attack.
Rocket moving to the top lane. Going to the strongest member. Playing around Betsy. But the CS difference is Tabs is way up.
Your
in
bottom
Phoenix.
tower has
We
fallen.
talked about exceptionally already.
Your top tower is under
All
attack.
in with the Tremors and the Thornmail and the Sunfire Cape. So as long as Freddy knows where the rest of them are, he can play aggressive with this. That's sustain. It's just so good. Everything Freddy did has already been undone by Wurlip. Wurlip's not even budged out of lane.
But again, as long as he keeps Wurlip all the way down here on the map, that's fine. But again, the TP from Rammus
Blessings
is a
upon
lot
a
more
loyal
impactful.
warrior.
Right now, coming in, locking down one target, no, obviously only one QSS now for Holy Phoenix. So just taunt the Nidalee, taunt their LeBlanc, and then Betsy would just kill them instantly together with tap.
Regeneration.
Just playing 1v1 themselves because they are so far ahead with their mid laner. They just have that instant winning lane, and then Taps is always pushing mid. And Lucian pushing waves compared to Ezreal, big difference.
Noxia gets tagged by the Winter's Bite. Glacial Fissure knocks him up into the air as the True Shot Barrage comes out. Airwax interrupts the pounce with a body slam. Whirlip now takes a full face of the culling. That was a couple ultimates invested just for the possibility, but it doesn't really bother Rocket. Betsy started to lead in the top lane. The one thing that Rocket could probably do a better job of is pushing some of that vision deeper into Huma's jungle because they have been playing, well, they were playing fairly aggressive.
Is that it?
Inventory, so see if they adjust that for future pushes.
One of the classic mistakes where you have the ping wards down on the map, and you're kind of saying, you're clapping each other on the shoulder, like, nice go. You know, you
been
play
up
the
6
ping
minutes.
wards,
Look,
you got 5
in
pings
the
on the map.
tri-bush,
Exactly.
Rocket tri-bush,
No,
the bottom lane.
We have pings on the map. That's
pings
what
down.
counts. The problem is, obviously, once you push further in, you want to take those pings. You want to push it. I know it sucks, you know, watching that ping ward replays, die. You want to kill it yourself by moving towards the team kills in different positions. It is. And it is tough, especially for these mid laners and AD carries where you have to tell them so many times.
Sky
"Get ping
alight."
ward." Now you need to kill your own ping ward by the way to move it further.
Biscuits at 25 minutes, much more valuable against LeBlanc and Nidalee and Graves.
And that's the thing, right? Always move them further and further and further. Once you're pushing up, take the enemy jungle. Should be yours now. Farm the jungle, get full vision in it with your ping ward, your green ward, and then suddenly the other can only try and steal objectives.
Alright, I got a little excited here.
Well, perfect. This,
Nidalee Spear and True Shot Barrage, I thought it could happen.
in like 3-4 minutes, this will just be the same around the Baron. If again you have
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
There are no pink woods, so stop making this prediction.
no, there are 2 right now.
Okay.
Look at this, there's 2 in the river.
Okay.
But
Your
then they
top
should have come
tower
back and
is
also
under
scored
attack.
more.
Yeah.
But that's the way what you did around Dragon is what you want to do around Baron.
So rock that. Let's see if they can make the same play.
Christ me.
Look at the damage of the pass.
Is your grave
He's on 11,000 gold already. Gadro is on 8,000. Wow.
You can see why.
triple kill?
Has some of the lowest CS,
Look,
15, 15,
a
30
spare
minutes we
rib.
talked about much earlier. It's Officio because when the team's playing side lanes, he's not picking it up. Red buff is secured by Rudy. Which means denied to Holy Phoenix at least, so it's a little bit of threat in terms of the jungle, and Rocket just splits up. They're going to keep playing 1v1. It's extending their lead. It's relatively safe for the team so far.
And now you move towards the Baron, what we just talked about. What you did around Dragon, forcing them to like try and blind steal it. Fine, do the same around Baron.
Radiant
They have to come in and
structures
fake
are
it.
fortified.
Then you have walls
Trust
behind them,
me.
they TPs in behind, or you just catch them out like this. And again, this is what happens when you have control in your jungle. They are forced to walk to Baron at some point. There was Ezreal ulti for Dragon as well. To check what's going on, and then you just kill them.
Defensive flash from Rudy. Rocket smell blood in the water. Godbro's in trouble, but he's got a flash available. Airwax body slam, barrel knocks him backwards. Betsy's looking to chase. As Godbro goes away, flashes over the walls. They're looking for the Huma mid lane. And Godbro gets taken down by Tabs. 2 easy kills, and Rocket turns towards Baron.
Yeah, nice little play by Airwax here. He didn't want to ulti instantly. He wanted to see
Butterfly.
Gadro trying to flash it, or if he had a second jump with his distortion here with the ulti. That's why he saved it. Body slam first then, and then knocked him in. They are trying to stop the Baron. It's only 3v5.
3v5, Whirlip's got his ultimate. Baron gets shot to about 2,000 HP before the
Lunar
rest of
light.
Rocket peel away. Baron has been interrupted.
Nice.
Whirlip, well as later on. Right, what tower's going down?
That's it,
Bottom
bot lane.
in a touch. So all of that work. If Rudy didn't come earlier, put those autos down. The tower may not
That is
fall
true.
now.
That is true. The tower would still be alive. Willib obviously pushing it up. Freddy's with his
It was a 24-minute game.
The enemy's top
level.
tower has fallen.
What can you say about that?
Fresh meat.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
And this is how it all started. You just saw the face check.
I mean, Kaz is like, alright, I gotta go in and like see what's going on, see if I can place a ward.
Your
maybe
bottom
over the wall,
tower
and then
is under
obviously there's
attack.
No vision spotting him. Rocket walks towards him, picks up the
Dire's
first kill, and
structures are fortified.
it's why when you have these combos,
We ride once
when
Your
Phoenix
bottom
ahead and you
tower
push in
is
every
under
lane,
attack.
whichever objective you're playing around, being a dragon or baron, that's where you put your vision. So then the team just walks in blind.
The enemy's top
Just
tower
engage. Like,
has fallen.
imagine if they actually had a few more
The
walls behind
enemy's
them and
middle
Rocket.
barracks
Freddy
has
would just
fallen.
TP in. What do? Freddy's just behind you now, and then in front of you is the rest of Rocket.
Blue trinkets are down. Noxiac is playing the sacrificial lamb. Baron is
new
secured
moon.
completely safely by Rocket. And
The
subjugate
enemy's middle
will buy
barracks
time for
has
Noxiac to
fallen.
stay alive. A good barrel.
The
Hits
enemy's
Hoover
top
against the wall.
barracks
And
has
Cast
fallen.
is trying to save everyone's life with the Fissure. The taunt lands onto Phoenix, forcing out the
Unworthy.
QSS. But Rocket have connected two back-to-back as the True Shot Barrage doesn't
The enemy's
do
top
anything
barracks has fallen.
to help Huma out. 8 kills to 4. Rocket now can take this 1-3-1 even further with Baron and 5 minutes.
And now you can see everything. Honestly, group up 4-man towards the tower, have Freddy pushing one other lane, and you can just poke away with Betsy so effectively. So this is the Baron start, this is what we mentioned again. You have the control around it, they are coming in to try and stop you. Behind them is Freddy coming with the flank. And now you have this great engage here from Alex.
Crush me.
Again, of course, Freddy down here in the bottom of the screen as well, just annoying.
100% kill participation.
Good.
He's holding his balance at the right time.
Yep.
Been in the right areas where Huma has tried to pressure and supported Betsy. I mean, look, Airwax and Betsy hold hands when they play.
And it's something that actually worked against a lot of LCS teams in the early game with those two guys. Obviously against the challenger team, I feel like it's going to work as well. I mean, that's what we've seen now, so it's an easy prediction to make. But that's the thing. It's going to be very tough for me to challenge the Rudy and Sweet House were weaker than against Rocket. You know, you can't really afford to have a weaker jungle. Weaker jungler, even though you actually have a better matchup with Italy, of course.
And then swap somewhat nullifies that power.
Exactly, that's why we can see it hindsight 2020, and at the same time as well, if you didn't swap top and they didn't actually swap, you would look stupid. But now you top lane and you're like, man, what are we doing here? Like, we wanted the 2v2.
Would you have gone as far as to say Huma's team comp hinged on a lane swap? It's something that I know Crepo speaks quite a lot about on air and off air, how a team comp can be sort of broken by lane swap sometimes. Do you think that, or do you think that's overly harsh?
I mean, the comp is definitely a bit worse if there is a swap, except for the fact that Graves does extremely well. Like, he's not even pushing in towers very fast with the shotgun here. But because, again, you want to set up mid lane to do well, you want to snowball early. The lane swap kind of shuts that down. So, yeah, they got now Betsy's doing everything.
Looking for Cast again, puncturing Taunt holds him in place. Betsy's taken a lot of damage from Whirlip.
Piercing
Turns it around. It becomes a 2-on-4, but the inhibitor in the top lane was broken. And the base was open down bottom. A 6,000 gold. Baron power play. Breaking all records.
I'm not I'm not ready.
Crush me.
Smiles upon you.
There's a lot of questions for Huma in this game here, because they came in with this combat as the first game, and normally for first game it's one of the games you prepare the most for. You try and predict what the other team is going to pick, and you try and like prepare your team for what is the other team normally doing in game, like what is it they're doing well, and everything there comes into game one. If you then start having all these things you thought were going to happen, or maybe you didn't expect to happen, and they all happen in game one, adapting becomes harder, unless you prepare like 3-4 different strategies, and that's what we need to see from Huma, because again, running this 1-3-1 heavy skirmish has to snowball if it falls behind. Like this combo, if it falls behind, as we can see, there's barely anything, because Whirlip is in the side lane. You wave this now, LeBlanc jumping in, or an Ice Sprung Gauntlet is. Like, there's no wave there. It's just free push from Rocket every time. Static shift from Cap to always push mid first, and he just gave pushing power to 2 lanes of Rocket, and only Freddy were honestly in trouble.
And I think it's important to note that Godbro opted into this matchup. It was a last pick LeBlanc after seeing everybody except the Rammus on the side of Rocket. So it was a mid lane matchup. They knew their early priority, first pick Nidalee,
accepted.
0-0-2, Rudy just did not have that impact because of how important the lane swap became. Rocket group themselves up now. 4 members in the middle, 1 down bottom. Freddy's got TP if he needs it.
Go to Freddy, honestly.
Yeah.
You can go 5-man in on that inhib if you want. You have this
Huma do
massive
not
front
want to
line.
fight.
No,
Rocket's
I mean,
top.
you got a 4-item Rammus now coming in as well. And you just engage.
Yes, they can. Cast is the target for now. The barrel roll, or body slam rather, comes out from the back. Airwack connects onto Costa, throws him back into the team with the cast. Everybody from Huma's trying to peel away. Freddy's down. Airwax is down. Rocket were unable to get the kill, despite it looking so good at the start.
They will hear me.
A double. Picks up the kill. Rocket, they may want to stick around. Still going to deal with a full health Godbro and Holy Phoenix. Holy Phoenix spamming out those mystic shots. Dashes forward with the arcane shift. Flashes over. Still available rather. The arcane shift moving him around the fight. Both Nexus turrets are down. And in 34 minutes, Rocket destroyed the base.
Incoming!
So a fairly
I'll see your
risky
entrails.
composition coming in from Huma. One of these comps that has been working for them back in the Challenger Series. But it's so much harder to execute when you face the LCS teams, where the level does go up a bit. And it never really got
Radiant
going.
structures are
They
fortified.
picked up a few kills, and it also came from Rocket with that failed dive in the bottom lane when he TP'd in and got 2 kills on the grave. There's no word of
The
how
enemy's
his
bottom
impact,
tower has
but
fallen.
losing the mid lane this hard. Mid tower also
The enemy's bottom
dying,
barracks
tried to pick
has
off
fallen.
Elric,
The enemy's
lost the
bottom
mid tower
barracks
right
has
after.
fallen. You now have mega
Basically
creeps.
just pick whatever lane he wanted to, and no one could stop him. Dragus Whirler there, instant, Rams is coming down. Dragus
The
comes
enemy's
down,
middle tower
Insect
has
back,
fallen.
He dies, and basically, so mid lane
The
match
enemy's
is very
middle
key, and of
tower
course, the
has
defense
fallen. Started.
Yeah, on the run. 5-1 now. Very handled by Betsy. Their laning phase is heavily Betsy.
The hunt
In Betsy's favor
continues.
throughout the course of the game.
Yes.
But now we need to see what happens. It's interesting because the next game is the only one that Rocket
It's not time
Rocket
yet.
has a choice of sides. It's 1-5 they chose to their side. This is the first time that Huma has
You remind me of my old boss!
interesting to see how the dynamic changes, if at all, because that dynamic change is what helps
Get over it!
Splice. Yeah. So we will find out shortly.
Lunar light.
Something on.
Dire victory.
First wins.
They did 1-0 up in the series, and in my opinion, it was closer than what I had expected, at least in
Victory!
the first game
Thanks
in a
from
series.
above.
What made it that it was not a landslide for Rocket?
It was eventually that dive that went wrong, but before we delve into that, it started actually off with a poor lane swap from Huma. We can get it on the screen immediately, where Huma don't bounce, and then Jankos, you hear as a macro expert, under the wings
Isn't
of Folly.
that
How important is it
thing?
to bounce that wave?
I mean, this wave is kind of important just because if you bounce this wave, your top lane can get a lot of free farm. And then even if you are faster on the swap, you just basically can get top turret faster and you have like the tempo. And right here, if you don't bounce the wave, enemy top lane can just, you basically match and enemy top lane gets all the farm and then, the game is kind of hard. Also, what happened here, like Ramos got all the farm, he was even in CS with Graves, which shouldn't ever happen. Because if Ramos can get his power spike fast, then yeah, I mean, he'll be just so much stronger than Graves. Also, what happens here, they need to make Nidali come here just because